Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 702. Welcome to Friday. We're almost to the weekend. Good morning. So, what's up? I'm trying to think, what am I going to talk about this morning? It's a free for all Friday. Jenny is with us from snowy Minnesota. We had some snow flurries yesterday. It was damn cold yesterday. It was cooler earlier in the week, and I looked at my the weather bar on my computer, and it said like 41 at like noon, and I'm like, ooh, that can't be right. So took Biscuit for a walk, and yes, it was 41 degrees. It was cold, and it was a little wind. It was I would say windy. It was more than breezy. It was definitely, I would consider it windy yesterday. So our walk was shortened. It was a typical October Midwest day. 40, cloudy, nasty. We beat the rain, fortunately. We did get some rain and some snow flurries. One of those early, like, it's cold enough to snow, but it's not like an actual snowfall. So yes, we did get some snow flurries for the first time, and it sucks. It's where did fall go? Went straight to winter. Rich, good morning. David, what's up? Terry, good morning. Boston Smoke, Paige and Deanie Bean. George is with us, and Herman, what is up? Hobby World. So I have some very bad news to report. I've been talking about, like, I feel like I've jinxed. I feel like I'm a jinx because lately I've been talking about riding my bike up 2 blocks to the Anawan IGA Beatrice, watching me like a hawk, like I'm going to steal candy. The IGA is closing. It's been in business in Anawan 84 years. 84 years, family run, same family. It's been in the same family for 84 years. My boss, who runs it now, he was my boss when I worked there in high school. He took over for his dad, and his dad took over for his dad. But 84, I think, was it 1937? I don't think that math adds up, but whatever. It's, I think I read 84 years, but they didn't come out. I saw it on the Facebook. I saw it on the Facebook. I saw it on their Facebook page, but it didn't say we're closing. It just said, been in business for 84 years. And it had a picture of, Lynn, my boss, his dad, and Vern, the grandfather, who started the run of the family grocery. And there was a lot of like, oh, congratulations. Like it was kind of, you didn't know, is this a good post? Is this a bad thing? So there was so I went straight to the comment section, like, oh, cool. And there was like 100 and some comments on a population 800 IGA grocery store. What the hell's going on? Why are there more than 100 comments? So I started reading the comments, and a lot of them were, hey, congratulations, 84 years, boom, yeah. But then there were some where it was like, I'm gonna miss you, and I'm like, what? What's going on? So I talked to my mom, and my mom said, yeah. Apparently they took like a full page ad in the local newspaper, closing, and I think like October 20th, like this month, is the last day, and it's sad. And I remember growing up, like, it was always like the what if the grocery store went out of business? Because in the 80s and 90s, like, we didn't have e-commerce. We had to drive in 12 miles to the nearest city with a grocery store. The big city, the Walmart, and the Walmart did, the Walmart was kind of it was kind of like the knockout punch. Walmart was the knockout punch to these small town grocery stores, and it really did. When the Walmart Supercenter went up in Kewanee near us, it was kind of a knockout. But that was like in the early '90s, early to mid '90s, and I think now the state we're in with e-commerce, Amazon. I mean, shoot, you can order something on Amazon right now, and it's could be delivered tomorrow. Anawan might be 2 days. But you can order everything online. Like, you can order your detergent and you're going to get a much better deal because Amazon is a lot cheaper than your small town grocery store that has to have limits on what they can buy. So it's sad. And I think where we're at now is just kind of like the finishing. We had the knockout blow 20 years ago with Walmart, and now the final punch out, the knockout blow. The knockout blow. What's the finisher? So it's closing. My IGA is closing. What's so for my emotions after hearing that? First was sad. You're sad for your community because it's a small community, and like the grocery store, that's where you find out all the gossip. So it's like, man, and it's like, boom, right in the center of, we call it Uptown in Anawan. It's right in the center of Uptown Anawan. And it's like, what is going to be there? Now it's a really like super old, decrepit, like not falling down, but I think it needs some work. Bats get in. When I worked there in high school, I was like one of the only male employees. So when the ladies were on call, when the ladies were working and there was a bat flying through the grocery, there's customers shopping for groceries and there's a bat flying through the store. I got the phone call and I took my, what's the fishnet thing, caught the bat, and you have to release them into the wild. Bats are, I think, endangered. So we did not exterminate the bats. We just let them go outside, and the next week they would probably find their way back in, and the process starts all over again. But I think the building needs a lot of work. It's changed a lot. That area has changed a lot because when I grew up, we had the IGA. There was a Ben Franklin like craft store. So when I was a kid, we had the Ben Franklin craft store, which was and it took up about half the block. So half of it was the Ben Franklin grocery store. The other half was the IGA. Now, it was back in the 50s, and I think into the early 60s, it was a movie theater in our small town. And then the grocery store, I think, went in there at some point, maybe in the 70s. And then right next door, and it was actually a large building, and they were all attached, was the public library. So you ride your bike, you go get some candy at the grocery store, and then you go to the library for. I didn't go to the library too much when I was a kid. Maybe some summer reading programs, but that's it. And then my brother's business, actually, the library moved out, and there's like a new library that opened up on the north end of town with the like the park and the baseball facility. And my brother actually bought the library and put his business. He runs a plumbing and heating business, and so they have 2 locations. And so he bought the library for the Anawan location, and then sold that, moved to a different spot in Anawan, and now it's a dentist office. So it went from the library to a plumbing and heating business to a dentist office. I'm curious what it looks like now as a dentist office, because my memories for such a long time, a library. So yeah, so I'm like now I'm curious, like the emotions of sadness of losing a small town grocery, one that I grew up buying packs of baseball cards and candy, and then later in high school bagging groceries and working at the same store. What's going to go in there? And I find it interesting what may go in. And I'm part of the problem, because when I would go home, I never went back to the grocery store. Like, it was just, every once in a while, if, like, oh, let's grill some burgers, you go uptown, get some meat or some buns or whatever. But I really didn't go to the grocery store that often. So shame on me. Let's go into the chat. So that's some bad news to start the day. I don't even know. Speaking of bad news, should I even talk about the Bears game last night? Jenny says, well, good thing it's getting cold so you can list. Jenny is chasing me. I am finding myself much more productive now that it's colder. Something Sports Cards, what is up? Good morning to you. Mark Hoyle, what's up? Herman says, first Frank's lawn and now the IGA. I know, we're on a run of bad luck here. Victor says, good morning. Our Bears really suck. You know, I wanted to come on this morning with a brown paper bag, but I don't have any brown paper bags. So, man, that was a awful, awful game. And I watched most of it. I turned it off in the fourth quarter, and it was just a terrible game. My former coworkers were texting me, talking smack. And, you know, it's not Justin. You know, I know, and one of my coworkers was like, Justin Fields sucks and all that. You know, I think he's going to be okay. And that's exactly what I said. He's going to be okay. The whole team sucks. Like, it's just not a good team. And, you know, Tom Brady couldn't have success with the parts they're working with in Chicago. It's just a bad team all around. Wide receivers dropping passes, offensive line not blocking. Justin Fields got creamed last night multiple times. I'm not on this Justin Fields. Like, give it time, folks. Give it time. He's still young and he's surrounded by crap. My apologies to those players on the field, but they're just not very good NFL players. And in turn, Justin Fields looks like crap because when you're running for your life, which seems to be like a Bears quarterback thing of the past 2 decades, Bears quarterbacks running for their lives because the offensive line sucks year in and year out. Diego, what's up? Coup de grace, says Rich Klein. What's up, Rich? Zach and Porter are here. I find out all the Madison and Anawan gossip on the YouTube morning show. Now there's no IGA. Where are you going to find the Anawan gossip? A Dollar General will replace the IGA. You know, that the IGA, and that's a good thought because Dollar Generals pop up in like every small town. They populate like Casey's General Stores in small Midwestern towns. And I'm surprised a Dollar General hasn't gone up. Really, I'm trying to think. So I think of the Route 6 corridor. There, I said it, John. The Route 6 corridor. So Geneseo has a Dollar General. I think Atkinson does now have a dollar. I think they did put a Dollar General in Atkinson, which is the next small town over 5 miles away. And then there's Anawan, and then there's Mineral, which is like just a blip, like population 200. And then the next town over is Sheffield, and I'm positive there's a Dollar General in. There's a Casey's in Sheffield, so there's got to be a Dollar General. They're like there's like a small town marriage in less than 1,000 population towns in Illinois. There's a Dollar General and a Casey's. Let's see. Diego says that happens here in New Jersey. And good news, Dollar General sells cards. Let's see. Dollar General is everywhere down here. We have 6 within a 3-mile radius. Rich would be correct on his assessment of me being a library person. I was not and am not. Although here's some intel though on me and my library. I have been at times a library nerd. Here's gonna be this is how nerdy it gets. So I would research, and when I was in broadcasting, I loved the history, and I loved dropping pieces of history in the broadcast, especially when you're working high school, because that history is not it's not like you can go Google little tidbits about some small high school sports statistics. So I thought it brought another level to the broadcast. And then when I went to work at the university, when I ran the radio network at Western Illinois, my second basketball game, actually, yeah, it was my second basketball game. We played at the University of Michigan, the Wolverines, Chrysler Arena. That was like, and I've shared this story, Tim Hardaway Jr. was on the team. Tim Hardaway Sr. is sitting right behind my broadcast booth. I go down to interview Coach John Beilein in the Wolverine locker room as I'm walking with Tim McCormick, the 7-foot former NBA center. And I'm just like, this is surreal. Tim Hardaway sitting behind me. I'm walking with Tim McCormick to interview John Beilein in the Michigan locker room at Chrysler Arena. That was like a pinch me, I'm dreaming moment. But about Michigan, they have college for broadcasting. They have like game day notes, and usually they're like packets of like 30 pages. It's just a lot of just like everything you would ever want for little tidbits on a broadcast. So part of the in some universities would do this, others would not, like a history section on this day. And I love on this day trivia. On this day in 1977, this happened. So when you can relate it to the team you're broadcasting, like say my Western Illinois Leathernecks, like on this day in 1933, Ernie Page made his debut. Ernie Page, by the way, a real basketball player. He was, I think, a 3-sport standout, if I football, basketball, baseball, at Western Illinois in like the 20s. He was the first black athlete at Western Illinois. Great story. And so I started researching, and I should share my Ernie Page story that I had looked up, because there was a lot of, we've all, heard the Jackie Robinson and what he had to go through. Well, Ernie Page at Western Illinois and black athletes everywhere during that era went through similar things. And as I researched, like many of these were documented in newspapers. So where am I going with this story? So I wanted to research the history of Western Illinois basketball. So I worked in the sports information office, and I go downstairs. So we had at Western, we had the archives. The archives was like this dungeon, and it was basically it was enough room. It was this very narrow, like basement hallway, essentially, with just lined with file cabinets. That's it. There was enough room in this like long room that it had a line of file cabinets and just enough room to walk. That's all. So in the file cabinets had, here's football, here's basketball, and it had old programs and stats and, just random stuff. So I went down there, and I wanted to start. It's like, okay, the basketball program at Western started in 1903. So I want to go back to 1903 and just boom, this is going to be easy. Wrong. It was not easy, because there were no records from like 1950 back. So from 1903 to 1950, there was not a single record in our archives. From 1903 to 1950, not anything, not a single thing. So I'm immediately disappointed. And then I discovered why as I began researching. So Western Hall was where the athletics offices were and the basketball arena. And prior to that being built, they played in Morgan Hall, Morgan Gymnasium. And Morgan Hall hosted the athletics offices and basketball arena, just like Western Hall does now. But it burned down in 1971, I believe. And guess what goes in a fire? Paper. And what are records kept on? Paper, especially in 1971, because I don't think they had computers. They may have had a computer. It probably took up an entire building in 1971, but all the records were obviously on paper and burned in the Morgan Hall fire of 1971. So I also, because I worked like 7 jobs, I also worked at the local newspaper, and I was a sports writer at the newspaper. And it's like, well, if the actual university archives does not have these records, I'm going to have to research them myself with newspaper archives, and the newspaper office has the archives of the newspaper. So I went back, started in 1903, and boom, I researched, and I got to like 1950, wherever the records were lost in the fire. And I got from 1903 to 1950, and then it's like I learned so much. I learned about the story of Ernie Page and the you know, racial issues that he had to deal with in the 1920s. And you know, we played the defending national champions and beat them, Oregon, because Oregon went on a barnstorming tour, and Western Illinois beat the defending national champions in the following season. And I learned all of this cool stuff researching on the microfiche. And so after I was done writing at the newspaper, I would go back and I would start looking through the microfiche, and I would stay midnight, 1 a.m. working on this research. And it got to a point where it's like, man, I wish I could just wake up in the morning. I wish I had a microfiche machine. So what did I do? eBay has everything. I actually bought a microfiche reader off of eBay. And so now I have a microfiche reader, and I would just grab 4 or 5 reels, you know, after work, take them home, do my research in the morning, drink coffee. Instead of doing a YouTube show, I was looking at microfiche and taking notes. So I'm putting all of this work in. Like the entire history of the Western Illinois University men's basketball program. And it's like, okay, I've put so much work in. This goes beyond just having notes to drop in a broadcast. And there's so many stories that most people don't know about. This would make a great book. So I decided to work on publishing the history of Western Illinois men's basketball. And I even had a snappy title, and then I had to adjust it because it went to, because it was the history from this point to this point. So the end point, the coach had left. So it's like I just tacked on like and more. So so this was, I worked for the athletics department through 2014. And then I moved, and I had all of, and I have like a huge box of notes, paper notes, printouts. I made copies, making copies. I made copies of like every yearbook. And so I have this huge box of all these notes, and I started, so by 2014, like my research was done. Then I moved to Madison, and I'm just writing, and I did the history. And so up through 2014 or 15, I put it all down. I did self-publish. It's not edited, but I wanted kind of a test copy. It's this huge like almanac, and I printed one copy through like an online book publishing, self-publishing company. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's a mess. And so it's like really cool. I have a picture I can tweet out, but I only printed out one copy, and then I gave it to the athletics program because they played, and I've talked about this, Western, the year after I moved to Madison, they played Wisconsin, and there was a conflict with the football team. So the main play-by-play announcer was unavailable to broadcast the game here against Wisconsin. So they called me, and they're like, hey, do you want to broadcast the game? Heck yeah. So then I gave the book to our sports information director here. Your play-by-play guy can use this, and you know, this is yours, because the actual university didn't have most of those records. I had to research those when I worked there. So now that I think about it, now that's on the top of my brain again, it's like, man, I should probably at least put it out there, get it edited and put it out there, just so it's in book form. And I'll have to find where I saved all of that. I think it's on my upstairs computer, just so I don't lose it, because it was several years. Probably took me 5 years, because I started the research in November of 2011, and it was probably 2015 or 16 when I had it printed and gave it to the department. So there's a really long story of me not being a library person. So Jenny says, speaking of cards, I think there's a show this weekend. Surprise, it's not scrolling at the bottom of the screen because I'm on YouTube today, so I don't have the scroller capability. I thought about going on StreamYard this morning because I did do. I finally did my video on my very first grading submission. So that is now on my YouTube channel. Check it out. I went on StreamYard because I was like, I'm just gonna do the video here. And I'll just record it and then publish it. Well, I couldn't figure out on StreamYard how to just do a video and publish it later. I had to go live. So I went live, and I had a lot more people because it was at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was just a random time. I'm like, okay, I'll go live. So thank you for jumping on the live. It was kind of it was not meant to go live, but we did it and we had fun. So that video is up. So that's why you saw the scroller. Yes, this weekend is the Midwest premiere, 250 tables, indoor sports center, Loves Park, Illinois, just outside of Rockford, an hour west of O'Hare Airport on I-90. I'll be driving down this evening. I had to book my hotel last night. Of course, I waited. And here's a first world problem. I didn't get a hotel a mile from the facility. I had to go 5 miles out. But the good news is I was able to use, or I found a Marriott property, so I get points. So even though I have a few miles more to drive, at least I get some points. It's like it's probably, when it comes to Marriott properties, you have to scroll down to the bottom because it's one of the cheap ones. So I'll get like 5 points for it. But a point is a point. So we have, where are we at? Bears have no talent on the field. Completely agree. It's just brutal. It was painful to watch. It was just, and Thursday night games are just awful. Like, and I get it. It's like, it's not like, but why even have it? If you're going to schedule teams that suck, why even have Thursday night football? Doesn't that hurt? Like, if a non-Washington, and I always forget what their name is. Is it the Guardians or the Commanders? It's the Commanders. Cleveland's the Guardians now. If you're going to schedule, like, if a non-Commanders fan and a non-Bears fan turn that game on, like, you're going to watch a few drives and be like, oh my God, it's late in the second quarter and it's 0-0 or 3-0. I'm not going to tune in. And then when you see that on Thursday night football back to back, I think it was more than 45 offensive drives without a touchdown on Thursday night football. It was at least 45. Somebody was tracking that on Twitter. And you watch that 2 weeks in a row and it's like, okay, Thursday night football sucks. I'm not going to watch it anymore. So that hurts the NFL. And I know there's big money with Amazon and all that BS, but the only reason I turned it on was because of the Bears. Next week, I don't know who's on, but I'm certainly not going to watch that garbage. So there you go. It pains me only in the sense P wants them to win. I told him going into the season that they may win 2 games by design. One of the worst rosters in the league. Rebuild, most definitely. And everybody wants Bryce Young. Like, I see this on well, we're going to draft Bryce Young. It's like, and go through this again when you draft a quarterback again, and it's like, it's just going to be a repeat if you don't surround Bryce Young or insert the next sexy quarterback. And if you don't surround them, it's going to be this all over again. Well, this quarterback sucks. Why'd we draft him? So no, I don't want the Bears to draft another quarterback. Stick with Justin Fields. This is a rebuild, and we are rebuilding around Justin Fields. First of all, give him some protection before he gets broken in half. Give him some protection on the offensive line. Get him some receivers that won't drop the ball. Is that too much to ask? P might have to flip to his mom's team. Zach says, you want that versus winning 5-7 games and living in football hell? Exactly. And I will say that's a great point. I would rather them lose all these games and get a top pick than go 8-8 and have like the 18th pick in the draft. That's football hell. Clean it out, but don't get Fields killed in the process. Exactly. Pepino Man has never seen a Dollar General. They must not have them in SoCal, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised. So Dollar General, it's got to be like Diego says Jersey has them. So yeah, they're in every small town in the Midwest. I don't think he was, as he doesn't like Rodgers anyways. If Aaron was 25, maybe. Uncle Rich knows, and it's time for me to get on with my day. I'll listen to the rest of this in a couple hours. Thanks for jumping on. Let's see. Jenny says, have a great day. Rich, ever find a card in a book? Paige and Deanie Bean asks. I don't think so. Because most books I read, like I'll pick up at, like, actually where I get most of my books is Goodwill. And I do read. I'm not a library person, but I do read. I'll buy a book at Costco or Goodwill. Goodwill you can get great books for like $1 at Goodwill. If there's a new book that's coming out, I will go to Barnes & Noble. I hit Barnes & Noble up every once in a while. But I hate paying $20 for a book. So I've never found a card in a book. Let's see. Zach and Porter says, I've got to run too. I will catch the replay. Make sure you all check out Mark Hoyle on Sports Card Nation. Hopefully this exposure will get Mark to start doing videos. Yes, Mark, do some videos. Jenny says, on this day in 2021, Bo went to the office for the last time. Let's see. October. Is that right? October 14th? When was my last day in the office? That's a good point. Yeah, because I think I don't think today. I think it was the 12th. Yeah, I think tomorrow is my one. I think October 15th was oh no, October 18th was my first full time. So tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary. So on this day a year ago was my last full day in the office. And then I went to the office on the 15th of October and, or was it? Or was October? Did I take Friday off? I can't remember what my schedule was. I think maybe I did take the 15th off. I don't know. I can't remember. But my first full day, I do know my first full day was that Monday, October 18th. You know what, Jenny? You're right. It was the 14th. It was the 14th because the 15th was my first day, but it was like I had to do a lot of like business prep. Jenny knows my timeline more than I do. So yes, Jenny is correct. It was this day a year ago. Because I took Friday, I didn't take it off, but the 14th is my last day. Yes, that is correct. I took the 15th off because I think I was doing some some planning. I'm sure I did a retail. I think I did a retail run. I had an appointment with my accountant, and I had an appointment with somebody else. It was basically like an appointment. So it was essentially like my first day full time, but it wasn't really like a full day. A full day. The Monday, the 18th was my first full day. But yeah, Jenny, you are right. Yeah, today, a year ago, and I didn't put in a full day. I did my exit interview at 2:00, and it was like, okay, well, nothing else to see here. You can go. Handshake, and out the door I went. So yeah, it was. Wow. It was this day a year ago was my last day in the office. Hallelujah. Let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says, old lady in Ghostbusters library scene popped in my head. Bo, this library story is scary. They burned records at Comiskey Park too. Down with disco. Microfiche sounds like an Allen and Ginter subset. It was a promotional disco night at Comiskey. Good morning, Red Light 34. What is up? There's Paige and Deanie Bean. Pepino video link. Laughed my butt off last night. Now I have a butt for your videos. Let's see. Nukes Cards. What's up? Catching you live for the first time. Welcome to the chat. Awesome to have you. Going to add you to my morning routine and listen on my drive to work. That's awesome. How cool is that? That is so cool. Thank you so much. Jenny says, now keep in mind, Thursday Night Football requires an extra streaming cost to watch. It's only on Amazon Prime unless it's your local team. Yeah, and I had we were using, so my wife had always used my mother-in-law's Amazon Prime, and it's like, why don't you buy Amazon? Why don't you have an Amazon Prime? Because my wife orders on Amazon like every day. And then I think last year I got a subscription to Amazon Prime because I was starting to order supplies, and I think there was it might have been like an introductory, like get the first 2 months of Amazon Prime free if you sign up for a year or whatever. And then I started using them because I never ordered on Amazon. And then it's like I ordered my Fujitsu scanner, my first one, the 7030. Ordered that on Amazon. I ordered all my labels. I ordered my Brother QL 1100, all the thermal labels. I order my signs for the card show, the Madison card show. And it's like, man, Amazon Prime is prime. So now I have, so it's like, oh, in every week when it's like, oh, I want to watch the football game tonight. Oh crap, it's on Amazon. Oh wait, I have Amazon Prime. And then it's like, oh, phew. Let's see. JG says Bears need an overhaul on the O-line. Absolutely 100%. Duke's card says Bears need new ownership. At least they have a new front office, because that was leading to that was part of the problem. Paige and Deanie Bean says Barnes and Nobles has cards. Yes, they do. They had, and that started, man, it's probably been it's been at least 3 years, probably 4 years that Barnes and Noble started. And it started with just like a random, like Topps Chrome. You could get Topps Chrome at Barnes and Noble. And now it's like they have everything. It's almost like a small Target or Walmart section. I do. Speaking of retail, I made a retail run, and I'll question the chat because I was going to do a video last night and I didn't. Par for the course, right? I was going to do a video, but I didn't. So I went to Walmart yesterday because I want Topps archives, but retail only. I just want like 5 blasters. That's it. So I went to Walmart, and they had like everything. And it was, I think they stocked it. I don't know when they stocked it, but they had, imagine this, like who would have thought a year ago or 18 months ago, we would look into the future in October of 2022 and you can find Prism basketball at Walmart, like any time of day. So I went randomly yesterday afternoon. There's Prism fat pack, Prism basketball, not the draft picks, the actual NBA Prism fat packs, like a whole box of them. There were blasters of Donruss Optic basketball, which I think just came out. I haven't seen that. There was Topps Chrome baseball mega boxes. I'm staying away from that. There was that Skybox Metal Universe, which is just like some random stuff. I almost picked up a blaster of that, and it's like, I'm going to stay away from this. But I did pick up one blaster because I didn't know the price on this. So that's the problem with a lot of the Walmarts. They're just, the pricing is all over, the sticker prices are all over the place. And so I'm looking at each tag, like how much is this blaster box? Couldn't find the sticker. So I'm like, you know what? I had 2 in my hand, and then I put one box down, and I'm like, I'm going to buy one of these and one of the Skybox Metal Universe. And then I'm like, I don't want to waste money on the Skybox Metal Universe. So I'm like, I'm only going to buy one of these blasters. It is the NXT, Panini NXT. And the reason I bought it was there's 90 cards in a blaster box. And I'm like, that's a lot of cards for a blaster box. Not too many products have that number of cards. But I thought, okay, if this is a $35 product, I'm not going to buy more than one blaster. This is going to be a funsies rip, just one blaster box, not expecting a return. But then I checked out, and it was only $25. So I'm like, damn, I should have went back and bought more. If it was $25, we'll see though. I'm going to open it. Do you want me to open this live right now? Because I will on Free for All Friday. If not, I'll do a separate video. But if anybody wants me, I know there's not a lot of wrestling fans in the chat, so I will take a vote. Say yes or no. Should I open this live this morning on Hobby Evolution? NXT 2.0 Panini. There's blaster exclusive autographs and memorabilia. So I've got 2 votes for yes. So, and most people want to see cards getting ripped. So, okay, Paige and Dini Bean adds another yes vote, so we're gonna rip it. So let's go before we get into the rips. Let's go back into the chat. So I am gonna make some retail runs again today because I'm on the search for Topps archives. Hopefully, it's released. Today's like the Target release day. I don't know when my local Walmarts are stocked anymore because they changed who stocks and everything. But I think my Target's still pretty regimented on their Friday schedule. Let's see. Jenny says, I know I'm right. I'm a woman. LOL. Brian, good morning. Jenny has those maps with the pins and strings with Bowhead in the middle of an Anawan map. Let's see. $1 out of 15 cents. What's up? Good morning to you. Herman says, Jenny's the new LRS. Terry says, almost everything I buy except for groceries comes from Amazon. Amazon is great. I love Amazon. And I think I've talked about this. I never, until I went into business full time, I never really used Amazon. Basically, the only time I used Amazon up to last year was when my wife would text me links for Christmas. Here's what I want. Just boom, click the link, buy. But I used Amazon in 2000 more than I used it in 2020. I was buying books back when Amazon was just a bookstore. Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. Bought that on Amazon back in 1999. Several baseball and sports books. When when it wasn't required reading, I was buying and reading books. Let's see. Jenny says, well, I wish Bo a good last day in the office on his show. And then within 2 hours, my grandpa died. So I remember that date. Oh, that's not a good way to remember it. Sorry. Let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says Finkel Einhorn. Finkel is Einhorn. Let's see. I saw a Formula One. 608 says, I've seen Formula One at Lids. I know I'm the only one who likes F1. Oh, 608. There's an F1 product at the 608's local to me on the east side. I went to the east side Walmart. That's where I found these on just off Stoughton Road, the Walmart off Stoughton Road. They had Formula One something. I don't know what product it is, but I did see F1 and I'm like, wow, here's another product that would not have been on the shelf a year ago. Let's see. So we've got 608, Paige and Deanie Bean, Boston Smoke, Brian, all want me to rip. Let's rip it. Victor says, not a fan, but let's do it. Let's see. Baseball card illustrated. What's up, Bronco? I get a chance to see Bo live this morning and get wrestling cards. Awesome. Yes, Bronco is a wrestling fan. Dan is with us. What's up, Dan? Herman says you need the Walmart app. I think I do have the Walmart app. I just never use it. Brian says, I like to use Microsoft Edge at Target because it runs all the coupons for you. And sometimes these Target people load and they're 10% off. So I'll get the 5% off red card and a 10% off employee discount. Interesting. Wow. Terry says one of the few Amazon same-day delivery warehouses is about a half mile from my house. Oh, that's even better. So here we go. My handy-dandy Card Dealer Pro box cutter. We're going to rip. We're going to rip today. NXT 2.0. I assume this is a new product because I have not seen this before yesterday. 90 cards in a blaster box. So and it was only $25. So it comes out to be, I think, 28 cents a card, 29 cents a card. Let's see. And I don't watch NXT. They're thick packs. So they're 15 cards per pack. This is like a hobby box, man. 15 cards per pack. Nice thick packs. Man, I might have to go buy more if this is a fun rip. We'll see. So I don't watch NXT. I know who Braun Breaker is, by the way. And Mandy Rose, I didn't realize she was in NXT. Braun Breaker, by the way, for fans of or people that watched wrestling in the 90s, Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner. I think Braun Breaker, I think he should be Rex Steiner because their last name is Rex Steiner. So we've got Alba Fire. Again, I don't watch NXT, so I'm not familiar with many of these names. Primate, he's NXT UK, and I definitely don't watch NXT UK. That's a rookie card. Mark Coffey, NXT UK. which I think NXT UK and Bronco might be able to help me out with the wrestling stuff. NXT 2.0. I have heard of this guy. Ooh, and this is a rookie card. Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy, NXT 2.0 rookie card. NXT 2.0 is on TV. Is on TV. It's on Tuesday nights, I think. Hey, we got a Triple H, because Triple H is kind of like the lead guy. Let's see. Triple H spent many years as a guiding force behind NXT. Gacy, you say, yes, and I think it is a play on John Wayne Gacy. I wonder if there's any. I think he's supposed to be like a serial killer type. Joe Gacy, it doesn't look like the politically correct Joe Gacy is going to be canceled anytime soon. His vision of making NXT 2.0 a safe space has caught on, as he now has a legion of minions hanging on to his every word. So yeah, I think it's supposed to be a play on John Wayne Gacy. Let's see. Oh, Herman says you price check with the Walmart app. Here's another rookie card, NXT 2K, Ilya Dragunov. Price check. That would help. That is good to know. JC Jane, rookie card, NXT 2.0. I think that is a rookie card. Let's see. Pepino Man says, I trip out on how almost every time you talk about buying a product, you break down what it is cost per card. Well, I mean, I do this full time. Like, I sell cards full time, so I have to know the numbers. Rampage Brown. So I have to know the numbers. And here's when I broke it down a couple days ago on the video, how you can profit on ripping wax. The key component is the profit doesn't come on the hits when you're ripping wax. The profit comes on the base cards. So that's why it's important to know the cost per card. You know, what are you paying per card? 28 cents. You know I can flip these on eBay for $1.50, free shipping. My net profit on that's about 45 cents. So it makes, it's a small profit over the cost of the card. And then you're kind of hoping that you pull some cards that are $5, $10 plus. Cora Jade, that's a rookie card. We've got, who's this guy? Shea Samuels. I think we might have a color card coming up. He's from NXT UK, which I think they just, here's Bianca Belair. She's a hot commodity. I think they closed down NXT UK. So these are like the last NXT UK cards. Here's a rookie card, and I think this is a color parallel. Andre Chase from NXT 2.0. Must be a green parallel. And we've got Raquel Rodriguez. Not sure if that's an insert. It appears to be just a base card. NXT UK. That was just pack one. Holy cow. 15 cards per pack. 90 cards per blaster box. I'll have to start going faster. So here we've got a rookie of Tiger Turan. Tiger Turan, NXT UK. I think wrestling cards are cool. I am a wrestling fan. I don't watch this NXT, but I have fun ripping them. This is a funsies. This is for funsies for me. Josh Briggs. We've got look at this guy. Is that a mustache or is that just his? I think it's a mouthpiece. It looks like a fancy Brutus Creed. That's a cool name, and he's got like the old British strongman look to him, and it looks like he's got a mustache. But I think it's a black mouthpiece. Here's a rookie card of Fallon Henley. And we've got another rookie card, Ashton Smith, NXT UK. We're busting a blaster box of NXT UK from Panini. I found these at Walmart yesterday. Von Wagner, $25 for a blaster box. Hopefully today I will find some Topps archives. I'm not heading down to Loves Park to prep for the weekend show until this evening. So I may may stop in Janesville on the way down and stop at the Walmart there, see what they have. Oh, here we go. Braun Breaker rookie card. Braun Breaker rookie card, the son of Rick Steiner. Let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says AEW was bananas in Toronto with Jericho. I missed it. We were out to dinner, and for some reason it stopped recording AEW on Wednesday nights. I've got to get that back recording. Here's Sami Zayn. Terry says, I'm only in Walmart every few weeks and still have never seen a sports card on the shelf. Always cleaned out. Where are you at, Terry A? Asuka. And I think this is a green parallel. And then an insert, highlights insert of LA Knight. I thought he was great. I was a big fan of NWA. I haven't watched it here recently, but before the pandemic, I was a big fan. LA Knight was part of NWA. I can't remember what his gimmick was in NWA, what his name was, but he's in NXT now. Wes Lee. Terry A hasn't seen sports cards. We've got they're filled. The shelves are full here in Wisconsin. Terry says, Fujitsu question. I have an 8170 Stevie Turner. I have an 8170 and I can get it to scan the front and back. And do you mean you cannot get it to scan the front and back at the same time? I'm not sure if you mean you can or can't. Johnny Saint, NXT UK. Can't. It's got to be something in the settings. Are you using the 8170 software? Because it's the 8170 software is different from the 7030 software. So I'm not sure if you were using the 7030 prior. But right when you bring that up, bring up the on the photo capture. That I don't know. I don't know if that's different, but it's right on mine. I use a PC. Bodie Hayward. Wolfgang. So it has an option front and back. Nikita Lyons rookie card. So with the Mac, I don't know if the software is the same as the PC software, but there's an option right at the beginning when you open it up, that software window, and it's one of the main options to do front and back scans. Let's see. None of the Walmarts in my area sell cards. They stopped during the pandemic because of the theft and fights. Target's also stopped, but they started selling them again. I think that was nationwide for Target. My Walmarts have been steady. There's been during the craziness, they were limiting. Some stores were limiting what you could buy, how many you could buy. Roderick Strong, Malik Blade rookie card. And then the Targets, I think, was nationwide, where you could first they limited, and then it was only online sports cards. But everything's back to normal here. Tyler Bate. Saxon Huxley. That's a wrestling name. Saxon Huxley. Here's a rookie card. Kit Wilson. Doing the Vogue pose. Kit Wilson. Here we've got doubles of her. Zaya Brookside. NXT UK. We're upside down. We've got Isla Dawn. Opening NXT 2.0 from Panini. 90 cards per blaster. Lash Legend. That's another one. WWE loves their alliterative names. Lash Legend. Hulk Hogan. Damian Demento. Hulk Hogan to Damian Demento. How about that? Tyler Breeze. Braun Breaker. What else? What other alliterative WWE names has there been? I mean, it goes back. I think that was a Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon loved his alliterations. Max Moon. Short-lived Max Moon. Bam Bam Bigelow. Whatever alliteration. Bastion Booger. How about that one? Lex Luger. And maybe it's just a wrestling thing in general. Just Hunter Hearst Helmsley, triple alliteration. Sergeant Slaughter, British Bulldog, Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, like every wrestler is here's it sounds alliterative, but it's not. Caden Carter, but it's a KC. Zion Quinn, some unique names in here. The Macho Man, Duke the Dumpster Drosy. That reminded me because of Duke Hudson. Duke the Dumpster Drosy. Paige and Deanie Bean has a signed Bastion Booger flat. That is amazing. That is simply amazing. The Big Boss Man. Here's one. Solo Sikoa. Roman Reigns. Let's see. Who else? C&M Collectibles, what's up? Finally got spreadsheet done for the last 6 months. Sell-through average for that period is 0.52%. That's pretty good. Mine's sitting around 0.37. Roxy Perez. So 0.52. That's good. I hope to get back to that. I'm in the scale up phase, so I do know mine's at like 0.37. And that's as I continue to scale up, that's going to drop just because you're adding so much. You know, you're adding 1,000 cards per day and you're selling 100. Even if that number goes up to 110 and you're still adding 1,000, you know, it's going to drop that sell-through rate. So it sucks because, you know, you want that sell-through rate to keep rising. C&M's adding 40 to 60 per day. And yeah, I don't know how many you're selling per day, but you know, it's not, you know, add 1,000, sell 100, it's going to decrease that sell-through rate. But if you add 50 and sell 40, it's going to not really affect that sell-through rate. So this is the last pack. A lot of base, I think all base, a couple parallels. I don't know if there's short prints in this product. I should probably look before I just willy-nilly list them on eBay. Wrestling is not with Card Dealer Pro, so this is something I'll probably upload using Card Dealer Pro and just kind of piggyback their spreadsheet. Otherwise, I'd be using my own spreadsheet. Oh, here's a Roman Reigns. They have to get some of the big names that we've heard of. And then it looks like we've got a green parallel of Shinsuke Nakamura. So there you go, NXT 2.0. It was an okay rip. I probably won't go buy any more of these. You know, a lot of base cards. It's fun. There's 90 cards, so one blaster satisfies my itch. So one blaster was fun. We ripped it. And then now I'll probably set these aside and list them on eBay. I probably should list them now just because it's a new product. So we'll see. Maybe I'll take these down and list them from my hotel room tonight. So let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says, who was that alligator guy who used to have Chewy? Skinner, who was Steve Kern. And Steve Kern was also, he had several gimmicks in WWF. He was Skinner. Was he part of I think he played Doink the Clown. He was one of the Doinks. Yeah, he was one of the Doinks. No, I guess he was just Skinner and Doink the Clown. And of course, he's Steve Kern. Let's see. So he mainly wrestled as Steve Kern on the in the territories. Debuted in 1991 as Skinner in the WWF. Went over to WCW as Steve Kern in 94. When was he Doink the Clown? Let's see. He also competed at the 1993 Royal Rumble. While in the WWF, Kern also portrayed Doink the Clown on occasion. At WrestleMania 9, Kern helped the original Doink defeat Crush by attacking Crush dressed as Doink during the match. So looks like he was kind of a spot Doink the Clown. There were several. Matt Bourne was the original Doink the Clown, who played the part the best. And then there were several others who later played Doink. Robert Lanham, what's up? Congrats on your first SGC sub. Even with the disappointments, the slabs, you look great in the tux. Absolutely love SGC. Thank you very much for that. Baseball card curmudgeon, what is up to you? Pepino Man, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. There you go. Triple alliteration. The Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch. So a little wrestling talk. So that's what I had for today. Just a free-for-all Friday, just randomness. I will not be live tomorrow or Sunday. I'll be at the Midwest premiere. The show runs Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at the Indoor Sports Center, 250 tables, Loves Park, Illinois, hour west of O'Hare Airport, right there in the Rockford area. So that's tomorrow and Sunday. So see you there. Madison Card Show is next Saturday, October 22nd, 125 tables at the Madison Card Show. That show runs 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. next Saturday. So hope to see you there as well. So with that, I bid you adieu. If I do, I will go out to Target today. I'm going to be looking for Topps archives. If I do find some, I will do a rip. I'll probably just go live at some random time this afternoon if there are any retail archives out. I'm not sure if archives retail has been released yet, but if it has, and if I find it, I will rip it and I will go live. And it will probably be at some random off time this afternoon if that is the case. So thanks so much. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here or if you're a first timer. Thank you so much for jumping on. Our next Hobby Evolution will be at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. We'll review the weekend from the Midwest premiere. So hope to see you this weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.